and run that back. Take it on back. Drake London. Ball's up in the air. 6'5", 203.
Ooh.
Go up and make a catch. He's covered. He knows he's covered. Watch this. He's never worried. Watch the acceleration up the sideline. Watch the stiff arm and watch the physicality of Garrett Wilson. Boom! Look at the stiff arm. Move. Get out my way. Still up. Still going.
Braylon's been dying to break down some film. And you know what? The draft is a week from today. There's been a lot of talk about wide receivers, so why not go to a guy who was a professional wide receiver to understand what these guys are doing while they're coming out of college and what scouts are looking for on NFL teams. Braylon's got the big board going on right now, and shout out to SMA. We appreciate you. Who are we breaking down today, Braylon?
All right, today I figure we'll start with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, by most people, is the #1 wide receiver in the draft. You see what he's done at Ohio State. Had a really tremendous year, had over 1,000 yards. I want to say he operated 15 yards a catch. Want to talk to you about why he's so good and why he will be #1. As you see him in the end zone, this right here is just a receiver screen. Watch the acceleration up the sideline. Watch the acceleration up the sideline. That's the 4.3 you see right there. That's what everybody can do nowadays. We're going to get into that. That 4.3 is what people want to see. You got to be able to run by people. Run that back for me, Alex. Go ahead and run that back. Take it on back.
And one thing, like this, I told you, like I'm really big into dynasty football, and that's one thing when I'm watching film for these guys. I'm watching if they can. I'm watching if they can beat the angles, because that's when you know a guy is super fast, right? When a guy has the angle of pursuit, like 27 does here, he ends up catching them. But can you outrun those angles? That's when I know you're NFL ready.
100%. You want to know if they can outrun the angle. Now, if he was just focused on 27, he would have outran 27's angle. But what he sees is go a little bit further down. Sees another guy down here. Not going to outrun his angle. So this is a guy 6 foot, 188 pounds. They have told him that he is not that big. I beg to differ. Watch the stiff arm and watch the physicality of Garrett Wilson. Boom! Look at the stiff arm. Move. Get out my way. Still up. Still going. That's an additional counted foul. That's an additional 12 yards. That's an additional 12 yards. He could have went out of bounds. He could have been the guy to go out of bounds, but not only is he 4'3", he's also physical. Now look at him right here. Run this back for me, Alex. You can put him anywhere. You can put him on the outside, like we just saw that receiver screen. You can put him on the other side, which you'll see shortly. But you also can put him in the slot, in the red zone, and he runs tremendous routes. Watch this. After this play, you can let it play, Alex. Right here. Sets the guy up, comes inside, kills his leverage. There's no safety. This is the DB. He's the only one there. Garrett Wilson knows that. So what he does on that last play, he stems him outside on that play. Starts outside. Go back, Alex.
And what I liked about it is look at the DB.
So
the DB took inside leverage.
Pause. So what you'll see is you'll see zero coverage. So all that means is that everybody across is covered one-on-one. So this guy literally has his back turned, doesn't want Garrett to go inside. Garrett attacks his outside leverage, gets the guy to stay here, goes right under his butt, easy touchdown. Garrett understands the concept. He understands the assignment. Go to the next play. This is against Michigan. Now this one hurts my heart. But we got the win, so I don't care. Look at this. Even when he's covered, up here, he's covered. DB is in great position on this play. He's covered. Like, he's covered. The guy should have not. The guy should have made the play. Garrett Wilson's just that much better. Garrett Wilson is that much better. Garrett Wilson is a top 5 player. Watch the ball. Watch the hands. Catches it. Look at that. With his hands. Secures it to the tuck. Finds himself. Gets down, scores a touchdown. Garrett Wilson is lights out. He can do it from the slot. He can do it from the receiver screen. Even when he's covered, he's still not covered. 6'2", the guy can make plays, man. What you think about Garrett Wilson over there?
I like Garrett Wilson and the speed. Speed is speed.
Speed is king.
That's what separates him from a lot of guys coming out in this draft class. Look at that cutback.
Look at the cut. He understands the position. That is leverage, size, speed. That speed dynamics come from the quads and the hamstring. Put that foot in the ground, and he went. Let's bring up a taller, different receiver.
And this is your
body
guy.
Type. This is my guy.
So like yesterday we were having the conversation if the Lions had to draft a wide receiver at 2, because
taking Drake London.
You like Drake London out of anybody in this draft class.
If the Lions have to take a receiver at number 2, it has to be Drake London. This is why. This is what Calvin Johnson was really good at. Here you go. Ball's on the 3-yard line or 2-yard line. Right here, you got a DB that is man-to-man. He is in Drake London's face. You got safety help over here, so you can't run anything in here. The only thing you can do is an outside deal. It's got to be a fade. It's got to be a fade stop, or it's got to be a comeback on the outside. He's covered. He knows he's covered. Watch this. Decent release. Look at that. The DB's done everything right. Only thing he couldn't do right is be 6'5", run 4.3, and understand how to catch the ball like he did. That is a big-time play by a big-time player. And if you watch, because Alex did a great job with different angles, he's never worried. Like, the DB has his hands in his chest. He's never worried. You never want to let the DB get his hands in your chest. Run that angle back, Alex. This is the angle right here. Run this angle back right here. So, boom. Catches it. We see it. That's the first angle. Alex had another good angle. It's called the back copy. That's what it's called in football. That was the end zone copy. It's the back copy. There's another angle you'll see coming in now. Watch how relaxed he is when he's covered. Look how relaxed he is. I'm covered. And, oh, by the way, all I need is one hand. Drake London. Here's another play. Ball's up in the air. 6'5", 203. Ooh. Go up and make a catch. What they teach you as a wide receiver, especially the tall guys, high point the ball. Look at this catch. Look at that. He goes up. He catches the ball. He high points it. Here's another one. Look at this. Slovis throwing the ball right here. Look at that. High point, ball down at the 1-yard line. Another thing you're seeing with him that you got to love, he's 6'5", but he's getting by guys. He's getting by guys. The reason why he's having to stop and jump up is because Slovis and Dart, who were the quarterbacks last year at USC, are average quarterbacks. So he's having to come back to the ball. They're giving him a chance at the 50-50 ball. That's why I say if you're going to draft a receiver too, it's got to be Drake London because that's easy. That's easy to him. He can do this, and he's physical. The man will run you over one more time, high point. You got to love this stuff. He's still going. He gets up. He has the attitude, has the flair. He played with Amon-Ra St. Brown before.
And they've been talking about it on Twitter, too, about him coming to Detroit.
50-50 balls are what players live on in the NFL now. Quarterbacks live on it, too. I mean, the film speaks for itself. And he can run good routes. I didn't get you the right video. I wanted to show you one with him actually running routes. Because for a guy that's 6'5", he can run routes. He can bend down, get into routes. Reminds me of Julio Jones. Julio Jones, 6'5", but runs all the routes in the route tree. I think Drake London can be that same type of guy. That is Drake London. That was Garrett Wilson. I think both of these guys, tremendous talent.
Definitely. Another thing I like about Drake London, too, is you remember how Randy Moss would never put his arms up till the ball was very close? You see that kind of a little bit with Drake.
It's called lay hands.
Yeah.
Lay hands.
And you could see him tracking it. Then he turns around and high points it. By that time, the DB doesn't know where the hell the ball is. So, like, that's definitely a skill.
It's called lay hands, and what it does, it just gives you the opportunity to be the only one that can catch the ball because you don't tell the DB, hey, when it's coming. It's like once the hands go up, if I'm a receiver, once the hands start going up, or I'm looking, once you see the hands, the DB is trained not to look for the ball like you are. DB is trained to look at your hands.
Right.
Look at your hands. So if you're putting them up too early, the DB now can look or run or play through your hands. When you're last second, like Stick is saying that Drake London does, ball's here. The ball's about to drop, and you're like, boom. And once you do that, the DB has no chance to get to it.
I'm sold on Drake London now. I love his size.
Yeah.
I love his speed. Out of the two that you just highlighted, obviously Drake London's your guy, right?
Yeah, if you're going to draft a receiver at 2, it's got to be Drake London because of the touchdown effect, because of the red zone effect. This guy can be dominant. If you're going to draft somebody at 2, they got to be a guy that can potentially get you 15 touchdowns or more a year, and I think that would be Drake London.
And you think the quarterbacks that Drake London was playing with were kind of holding him back a little bit?
I think they were young and they were trying to figure it out. That's why you see Slovis transferred. Once Lincoln Riley got to USC, Slovis transferred, and so did Jackson Dart. Both quarterbacks transferred, and I believe that's because Caleb Williams is going to be starting quarterback for USC. He also transferred from Oklahoma to USC with Lincoln Riley.
Man,
it's going to be a hell of a year, man. We talk about the NFL. I think we forget about the college transfer portal and how much movement it was last year. From Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame, going to LSU, Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma, going to USC. It's going to be a fun year in college football, as is the NFL.